Right, let's go. So navigation, build it in Webflow, convert it to Shopify and make it editable. This is the video for you. Let's go. Okay, so navigation. So like anything, there's always many different ways that we can approach this particular solution or problem, whatever side of the fence you sit on. But one of the main things with this is obviously it's such an important component of a website. We have to get it right, and it's got to be functional, it's got to be editable, and it's got to be looking good because people interact with this thing a lot. And what I'm going to do is going to take you through the various different tools so I can equip you so that you can make the choice on how best to build your site, or for yourself or for your clients. The first way we're going to go through is the way that you would find within the Udesly University, and that is basically utilizing their copy and paste components that leverages Shopify's internal navigation system, which is really great because you can create navigations and menus and keep them maintained very, very easily. So let's do that first. So first things first, all we need is a navigation, navbar. Again, this is not going to be hugely about any form of design, so it's going to look like rubbish. Okay, so we have our rough navigation. Woohoo, beautiful. And now what we need to do is head on over to our university, and I'm going to copy and paste the mega menu one. Now the mega menu one basically has two items in it. It's got three items. It's got a div, it's got a link, and it's got a drop down. And what those do is it's got a custom attribute applied to the div, and all you have to do is specify a handle, and then you can then go and create that menu item within Shopify, and it will pre-populate with anything that you place into it. So the link and the drop down are placeholders, so you can style them up and you can bring them across, and it'll carry the classes and stuff like that, but you're not going to enter any specific text or anything in that, because basically that will be handled dynamically by the menu system. So let's copy this mega menu element, head on over to our beautifully designed navigation, and we will just place it into this nav menu area. Now you'll see there is two sections here. So we have two divs, so we only need one of them. So what we will do is we'll just place that up to here, and we will get rid of this nav menu, and we will just style this a little bit just so it's got a little bit of something.
A few inches later.
Right, so that's kind of our first step there. So now we just need to edit one more thing, and we need to make notes of this because you need it so you can kind of link the two together. So when we click on the actual menu container, you will see that there is a custom div attribute called mega menu, and then it's got a value. At the moment it's saying menu handle. So just change that to the menu handle that you want. So for instance, for this one, we're going to call it top nav. I'll hit save. So now we have to create a navigation that's labeled top nav, and that has that as the slug. And then they connect them together, and it says, yeah, you do that and you do that, and we're all good. Cool. So that's pretty much that for that portion. All right. Now what we need to do is just configure our Shopify attributes. This is not the end of the tutorial. This is the groundwork stuff. So hang around. Alrighty. And now we need to download our code. Head on over to the Udesly converter. Drag and drop the different files. If you haven't seen or done this before, there's a few other tutorials on this channel that you can reference. Okay. And we hit up, create, convert, download that file, and then we head on over to the Shopify install. So this is a clean Shopify install, so no dramas. So we add our theme file. So drag and drop the theme file. And then you would basically go to your apps and you would upload your JSON file. Obviously, for the time being, there is nothing really here for us to create, so it's not going to do much. All right. Okay, so now basically that would have imported all the data that we need, and now let's create that menu. So So we need to go into our online store, hit down to navigation, and then what we need is to go back to here and make sure that on that menu container, if you just copy that value, so you've got it perfect. There's no variation. Go across, and we just need to say add menu. We can add that top nav. This is the thing that has to map. So it's the slug, it's the handle, it says, yep, we're connected. And now what you can do is you can add any menu items that you want. So let's say we'll go contact. And this will go to the contact page. There is one, yep, there's a contact page. And then we'll say we want to add in a thing called collections. Now, here's the cool thing. So when we look at that structure, we've got a drop down and the menu, and that's what I talked about. So basically the menu, just the simple link will just turn out as a link. But the drop down, if you start to nest menu items, it will leverage the drop down and it will add those items to the menu item, which is pretty cool. So let's go. So we'll create the stitch thingy. We'll just say, well, we'll put it on the home page for now because it's actually not going to be a link. And we will say add. Come here, mouse. And we'll add in another collection list, and we'll call this one Summer Sale. And we will choose a collection, Summer Sale, add that. And now all we need to do is just drag and drop that within the collections, and it starts to nest them. So let's just add another one for giggles, and we'll call this one latest. And we'll choose another one here, and latest products, add, save. Okay. Right, now all we need to do is just have a look at the menu and see what's going on. Well, we haven't published it. What it's okay, so we'll go into here and we will just publish this particular structure. Okay, so now we can just preview that. And you can see we've got our contact and we've got our collections. There you go. Are you happy? Applaud, if you will. Nothing. Yeah. The main reason being is it looks like rubbish, really. So the limitations of it is it's limited. So by the very nature of it, you can only utilize the tools with Shopify provides in this particular regard. So you can't add things like icons and all these kind of cool things without really getting into the code and stepping away from the customizability thingy. But the thing is that remember it, because it's actually really, really, really useful. And I'm going to show you how you can use it in combination with other elements to actually make it really powerful and a lot nicer looking. Say, for instance, you wanted to create a footer. What you could do, and we're going to use Flowbase again. If you don't know Flowbase, it's awesome. You click, you drag, you copy, you paste, you get stuff. It's cool. Right. So let's go into here. We will grab a footer. This one will do. And we'll just pop that one on here. Ta-da! Ta-da! Cool. So now what we need to do is, say for instance, we wanted to change these now. Now we've got that handy little link. So let's just delete all these footer ones. We'll delete those ones there, and we'll just delete that one completely. Okay. So now we wanted to put in a manageable menu system. Yep, let's use one of those things. Okay, so we'll go into here. We will go into here and we will grab this copy menu element. So it's the first one. It's not the drop down one. It doesn't have any of that stuff, but what it does do is it repeats those links. So we can copy that. We go into here and we will say, all right, fine. We will add a link in there and we'll just copy this particular class, footer link. We'll say footer link. Get rid of that one. And we'll call this one, here's the thing. It's in the product. So we'll call it footer product link or something on the line. Footer products. Footer products. Footer. Alrighty. So now, when we want to do this one here, we can just copy that, pop that into there, get rid of that, and we go footer, menu, items. Fine. So now the cool thing there is, we copy and paste those across. We use those custom attributes again. So footer products, like we did previously, and footer menu items, and those will automatically get created as you utilize the Shopify core menu. Massive time saving. Very, very cool. Now, before we re-export and I'll show you how that works again, let's do something a little bit cooler with regards to the actual navigation, because quite frankly, this is just not going to cut it. It's heinous. So again, I'm going to use Flow-based because it just really cuts these tutorial lengths down instead of me having to build everything by scratch. So we will go back into here, premium components. We'll go to our navigation and we will choose this one. Yeah, that one looks cool. Head on back on over and we will paste in our brand spanking new navigation. Get rid of that one, don't want that one anymore. And what we might do is just add in a section here, just to break it up a bit. Okay, just for placeholder. Okay, so now we've got our new menu, and yes, it doesn't look the same. So you do you. I'm just gonna be lazy and do this because, quite frankly, I don't want to design it because I'm gonna delete it, and that will hurt me, and I'm not doing that. Fine. Okay. Get rid of you. Go away. You irritating copy paste things. I don't care that the classes have done, but you should, because the more classes you've got, the more CSS and unnecessary CSS you've got. So keep on top of those classes and delete them if you don't use them. Okay, so we have a pretty cool navigation straight off the bat, and the cool thing about it is we can use all of the tools and tricks that are in the other videos, and will be more videos coming, but we can use all those tools and tricks in order to build this navigation. What you can use collection items. You can use, say for instance, you wanted to give a list of products. You can do that. If you wanted to change these out into different things, but you want to be able to add them, so use blocks. Anything like from a section thing. So if we've got a defined amount of links at the top, we've got, say for instance, we only want to show 5, and we're not going to allow our clients to break our design too badly, they can edit those links and they can change the copy and change the link within it, but they can't add extra ones. So let's go through and create this. So first things first, I'm just going to get rid of some of these items because, quite frankly, you don't want to be here all night, and neither do I. So we will get rid of those, and that one. So this one here. Now these little icons, if you see them, they are pesky. Get rid of them and replace them with your own ones. And the reason being is those are Webflow native. So if you use them, you will be linking back to the Webflow servers. So not sure if you want to do that or not. For the time being, I'll leave them in there for now, but replace them with your own. Okay, so this one we're going to say is just going to be a link. So we will get rid of the drop down and we will just add in a link. Link text. And we'll call this toggle, just so that we utilize that class again. Just nice, but what we are going to do is just get rid of that ugly underline. So get rid of that. And there's our class. So we'll call this one about, and that's that. Now the cool thing is we need to actually make this editable, so we're going to use a section in order to do that. So what we will do is, if you haven't seen this before, again, there will be a link at the end of the video to the sections, which goes into a lot more detail. All right, so now we need to just give it some stuff that we can configure. So we'll just say this one is option text. We'll go nav 1 name, And then we need to give it a URL because it's a link, and if we can't click on something, then it's not a link. So we go here, so we go nav, so we go option, URL, and this will be nav one link. Cool. All right, so now if we want to do that again, copy and paste it. Cool, now we have two. So we can, just for clarity sake, this one can be contact. And we change these to 2 and 2. So now basically once we've converted this to the section, we can change those through the customizer. Pretty straightforward. Now, drum roll. Okay, so now what we want to do is start editing this particular products section. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do these as like latest products. Again, if you wanted to, we can add in our section tags on here. So you keep going through and you can just keep on adding your, so like option text. Option text, and we call this latest products title. That means at any time they want to, they can change that to whatever you want. Okay, so let's create this little structure then. So we got platform grid and blah, blah, blah. So what we need now is a little collection wrapper. Collection list, sorry. And what we will do is we'll just double click that, add that to our products. And then we have them. We're going to limit them by 2. We only want to show 2 of them. And then what we'll do is we'll just copy and paste one of these items into here. And then we'll just put that over here. Okay, and we will get rid of, what have I done? Okay, get rid of that. And now what we can do is just link this up. Cool. So that's kind of doing what we want it to do, and we can do all sorts of things. We want to go sort from latest, so to speak. So we'll go into a collection wrapper, and what we will do is we'll say sort order published on newest to oldest. So now we've got that working. Right. So on to the next bit. So what we have here is like a products thing. Now you would think, okay, let's use the collections list again and display the collection list here. And you would be partly right, because you can do that, except the image doesn't come across at the moment. A nice way to do this would be to use blocks, because that gives you complete control over what collections you want to display here. And also how many you want to display without having to constantly go back and forth within the code or re-exporting. So let's create the block. Right. So what we need to do is we will get rid of all the bits that we don't think we're going to use. And we'll keep something like that. So now we need to create the container for the block. So a block has to be, you can only add stuff inside a block, not on top of the block. So this would be perfect, but we can't add a block to that. It has to have a div wrapped around it. So let's create that quick div. So Control E, div. Alrighty, and then we just need to place that within here. Now we just need to go, and if you're not sure where I'm getting this again from, going back over to the Udesly University, and if you go to sections, and right at the bottom you'll see block. So all we need is a block and a block name. So we will call this one block, and we'll do it something descriptive, so you know what it is when you're editing it, because when you go into the back end and the customizer, you kind of need to know what you're editing. So we're going to call this products, which we'll use as a naming convention for that particular thing, and we'll call it products block. Save. Right, now we have to connect this up as you would any other section item. So we have an image, so we'll choose an M. So we will literally go here and we'll say custom attribute is option image, and we will call this one products nav image. Okay, and then we need to do the same stuff for here. So we go up here, we go custom attribute is option text, products nav title, and the final one will be option text products nav short this, and save. Okay, we're nearly there. All right, so rough structure's pretty much there. We just have to do one last thing, and basically, again, if you haven't seen the Shopify sections tutorial, we'll go into a bit more detail about this, but in order to get sections to work within Shopify, and this technically is now a section, but we need to convert it into a symbol. So just click on there, and then I find hitting on this little blue tab kind of means that I don't drop down a bit, because if I click on here and then I go to try and create it, sometimes it changes you onto something different. So go onto the navigation, right click on the blue little tab, create symbol, and we'll call this one top navigation cryptic. Okay, so now what we need to do is let's just publish the site quickly. Configure our custom attributes. It's going to reload. And now we can download our exported code. Okay. Right, so we now just have to download our code. Hit the download button. Okay, so we head on over to Udesly, and we just need to just drag and drop our theme configuration again. And convert product project, download it, and then head on over to our trusty Shopify store. We will add in our new theme, upload. Okay, and we will publish that one. And then the final step is just to import that JSON file. And then we'll just quickly do a quick whiz around to show you how it all works. Da, 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 da. So now what we need to do is just head on over to our customizer. So what I'm going to show you first is, okay, so we've got those down here, but we can see there's an error saying footer products, that's empty, please populate it. Footer menu items, that's please empty. So let's do that first. So we'll go back into here, we'll just copy that particular one. We'll go back into here, we'll go to navigation. And we need to just create our new menu. So we just go here. We'll just add in a couple of dummy ones. So blah, blah. And we'll just say home, and we will add another one. Just add a collection, save that menu, and if we go back into here now, we will probably see that still is an issue there. That one. Alrighty. Another menu. Alright, so that's it. Now I'll just quickly add this one here. So we just need to go, again, we'll just create some dummy ones. It doesn't matter at this point. Obviously, you just take a lot more care in terms of what you're putting here. Blah. Okay, that should be that. So let's just check that now. And there we go. So you can see our different links have now added there. So really easy now to kind of update and manage that particular section. That's where it's important. That's where it's useful. Obviously, you can use that same logic up in one of these kind of drop downs. But as you can see, those are starting to work as well. But we're missing those products there. And those also don't have the short description defined within the thing. So let's go to tasty wooden chips and tasty steel towels. Okay, so let's go into products. And if we go to tasty wooden chips, we go to more actions, edit product meter fields, and we can add in our amazing short description. Done. And then we can see if we go back into here now, refresh that. There's our little short description, so all good. And now we want to get those products to work. So all we need to do now is literally go into our customizer, and we will see in here, you can see add products to products block. Cool. So we can now go into here and we can say we want to call this one, I don't know, Bob, short description. And we will add in a bikini because I uploaded that before. And let's add another one. And we'll call it, yeah, that's fine. We'll just upload a few more. Only accepts PNGs and stuff like that. So select, save. And if we refresh this, the drum roll please. Dun, 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 dun. Cool. And as you can see, those are all done, really. Now the last ones were these little doodads at the top. So those are pretty simple. As you click on that top level navigation structure, we did that whole section thing, and you can see they are listed here quite conveniently. So we can change things like, I don't know, blah blah, and then you can actually just change and link them to wherever you want them to go, for instance. And it's as simple as that. Right, so that's the tutorial. So if you haven't already, subscribe. And if you need any of these little things, there's links down below. See you in the next one. Cheers.